What's going on? Welcome back to S63 Racing. And today, it's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be the first time we're going to run this kart since putting a new engine in it. I say new, it's a 2019, but before we get out there, a few things we got to do. One, toss some gas in it, and then two, one of the next most important things that I'm going to try this kind of current season is throwing some air filters over the inlet, so it's almost like a two-stage air filter. So as we get through this video, you're going to see me try to cut all this plastic out and toss this over the air inlets on the air box, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so this isn't going to look the best, but this is what we have at the moment. I've kind of taken some of that foam and just covered the air inlets on either side. I said to try to kind of stop some of that sand and some of the debris from coming up and almost destroying the engines. So next thing we need to do, one, make sure all those coolant lines are tight. Two, put a little bit more coolant in the expansion tank, and then should be good to go. So we're done test driving the kart for the day with the new engine. Overall, successful session. Nothing blew up, nothing went crazy wrong. Got a good couple hours of use out of it. However, there's a couple things to look for here. There's a ton of oil spraying out everywhere. If you look up here, almost looks like we're gonna need a new valve cover gasket for the engine. Some of that's just Suzuki, considering you can't go buy a brand new engine. They've all got to come off of bikes that were previously wrecked. So it makes it a little more difficult. So it's another reason why the European cross karts are starting to move to Yamaha MT-09s. And I believe the next time I go through this, I'm just going to do a Yamaha MT-09 as well. But overall, that's a relatively easy fix. It's all of 20 or 30 bucks for the gasket, and then we will just be pulling off the throttle bodies, and then from there the air box and everything will kind of roll out of the way. We'll take this cover off, and we will just open up the top of the head and swap the gasket out. Should be good to go. As far as everything else, no flat tires, no nothing. A little bit of grass, and that is mostly it. Also, real quick to note, this kind of cheap fix that I did to bring in cool air from these side inlets actually worked. No overheating issues today. Some of that's probably, it being a newer engine, but some of that's probably also just bringing cool air in the air filter mods that I did, bringing in all that foam. Also did a pretty good job at stopping any larger items from getting in there. But yeah, other than that, only a little bit of coolant came seeping out. Most of what you see down here is just using a water spray on the radiator. And then, of course, everything on this side is just oil. Kind of all flying out of that valve cover gasket, so that's something to stay tuned, because we're going to be pulling that apart, swapping that gasket, and kind of doing a mini series on that, and from there, engine should be good to go. Alright, while I've got the engine cover off, there's a couple things that I want to go over that you want to kind of look out for after a session of running these things, being that they are very race car like. There's a couple things that are always going to be something to look out for, one of which is how loose your chain is. This thing's definitely going to need to be tightened, and in a future video I will show you how to do that. We're going to undo a couple bolts. This whole carrier will slide back, and from there, going to make the chain a little tighter. Really just don't want it to get loose and flung around, you know, smack into a water pump, smack into the case of the engine. From there, it's a couple other things. You're gonna wanna look at how tight the gear lever is, how tight some of these cylinders are. Should be a little play. This one's got some. You really just don't want the clutch engaged all the time burning up. And then from there, we're gonna kind of look into just post-run maintenance. So the biggest things there, are you leaking any coolant? A good way to tell is just look for either tons of coolant that's just gonna be, you know, falling out onto the engine, or if your expansion tank is completely empty, it's probably also a good sign that you are leaking somewhere. Yeah, other than that, I would say it's a pretty successful run today, and really it's just a $20, $30 gasket, but it didn't really stop us from running today, just kind of keep topping it up with a little more oil. All right, now that we've kind of gone over how that engine held up today, no catastrophic failures, didn't blow up, didn't, you know, do anything crazy other than has a bad CO for the valve cover gasket. We've kind of gone over what the plans are, so in an upcoming video, in a week or two, depending on how quick I can get one in, I'll be showing you guys, you know, pulling that engine apart, swapping that gasket. Should be pretty straightforward. And another thing we've kind of gone into on this channel in a previous video is that we're going to be rebuilding the old engine that came out of here. I want to say this might be a bit of a shorter video, but those are two big things to come. I plan on tomorrow actually disassembling that engine and kind of opening it up, taking a video, showing you guys what's going on. I got all the piston rings in for it. I got almost everything I think I need. Head gasket, oil pan gasket. I don't think there's too much else I'm really gonna need to fix that engine. But that will be something in the future. I'm gonna try to get that disassembly out in the next few days. But yeah, stay tuned. There's gonna be more to come. And then yeah, the first race should be July 14th. We will be in New Jersey. So that's another big thing to kind of look forward to. And from there, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.